In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I would start a new recruiting or staffing business from scratch in 2024 and what I would do to make money as soon as possible. I'm going to jump into my computer and share with you the exact systems and the outreach script that you can copy that I use and countless of my members at Recruitemy use to get unlimited leads. And these are client leads, not just candidate leads. So you're going to want to stick with me here. But before we do that, let me explain the 4 different methods of recruiting or staffing and what you need to consider. And at the end, I'll give you my favorite one and what I feel you should do at least in the first 3 to 4 months when you start your recruiting business. So number 1 is direct hire, also known as headhunting, the most traditional way of doing recruiting. And this is where you negotiate a percentage of salary with the client. So, for example, if you're going to place a project manager with a company, you would find out what the salary requirements are from the client. And let's just say it's $100,000 annually. And then you're going to start at 30% of that salary and never go below 20%. So you've got a little bit of flexibility there should the client push back on you. But 30% is $30,000 that you will get right to your checking account. The second method of recruiting is also known as staffing, and that's where you place contract employees or temp employees, right? So I'm sure you've heard of that. This is a very popular practice, and this is also very lucrative. However, there is more of a barrier to entry when starting out doing contract staffing or temp staffing. You need to have certain insurances in place, which also cost a good amount of money and premiums, workers' compensation, general liability. And you're also going to need a payroll company like ADP for time tracking and sending out paychecks. So my advice is to kind of hold off on that structure until you start making a few placements where you could redistribute your profits and then build that pillar and give that option to your client. Okay, the third one, which I'm a huge fan of, is called engaged search. And what that means is you're going to take a job order from a client, but you're going to make sure your client has skin in the game and they're not going to ghost you and just string you along and use you, which most clients will do. And most people who start recruiting companies who have minimal background, they fall for this trick and they get burnt out and frustrated. That's not going to happen to you, okay? Because with engaged search, what you're going to do, it's just like direct hire, negotiate your 30% of salary, but your client is going to put at least $2,500 to your checking account, a wire transfer, an ACH, get those funds as soon as possible before you start working for them. And there's many ways to explain the benefits to this to your client, which I cover in previous YouTube videos. But the biggest explanation is, Mr. Client, please understand, in the past, we've been burnt and we put a lot of time and effort into previous clients' job orders, all for nothing to find out that the requisition fell through. They may have lost headcount, they received an internal referral, or they used another recruiting business. And if we continue on that path, we just won't be in business. So here's the best part, Mr. Manager. You have nothing to lose. Once you put that $2,500 over to us, we start working for you. And when we find you a candidate and place that candidate, we refund you that $2,500 on the first invoice. Big fan of engaged search. Okay, and the fourth and final one is also known as retained search, or what I call performance-based search. I try not to use the word retained, unfortunately, and if you're an attorney, forgive me, no disrespect to you, but the word retained can have negative connotation to it because we think of attorneys, we think of maybe financial windfalls or divorces. So I always say performance-based search, but that is retained search. And that's where you're going to divide your fee up over 3 installments. And sometimes you can just go right back to direct hire, negotiate that 30%. And let's just say it's that $30,000 fee that's owed to you. So you're going to do 10,000, 10,000, and a final 10,000, right? So the way that works is, Mr. Manager, we do collect $10,000 up front to start this search. Here's the best part. You don't owe us another penny until we give you at least 2 to 3 candidates which you agree that you want to interview at least one of these candidates. And that verbiage should be very clear in your performance-based agreement that you send over ahead of time. So once the manager says, you know what, Susie looks like a great candidate, let's go ahead and interview her tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's when the second invoice goes out for $10,000. And the last installment of $10,000 is not due until the candidate starts working. Now, guys, it's going to be important that you have options for your clients as you grow your recruiting business. Clients want those options. So my suggestion is start off with number 1, direct hire. You don't need any startup costs for that. You don't need insurances. Just go ahead and test your market, get a requisition, find a great candidate, and bill 30% of salary, make 3 to 5 of those placements, where then you can repurpose those profits into building your contract staffing model. And then also, as you get better and have more practice, you'll be more confident in your pitch for engaged search and for performance-based search. There you have it. Okay, let's jump into my computer. I'm going to show you exactly what I would do to make money as soon as possible with my recruiting business in 2024. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to share with you systems that I would use to make money in recruiting ASAP. And keep in mind, this is for people who maybe have capital to invest in the beginning, or if you don't. So it's for both of you. So I want you to keep that in mind while you're watching this. So I'm going to cater this video towards both people in either situation. So LinkedIn, number one, is where I would start. I would make sure my LinkedIn page is extremely on point, professional, branded the right way, and very simple for a hiring manager to understand what I do. So many times during the week, as I'm doing my consultation calls, I look at people's LinkedIn accounts and I have no clue what they're trying to convey to other people, what they're selling, what their product is. Their banner makes no sense. Their pictures need a lot of work and their headlines need a ton of work as well. So I would just start here with LinkedIn. Don't worry about a website right now. That can be something you can do down the road. And don't worry about like incorporating your business right now. Just get LinkedIn on point, start testing your market. That's the most important thing. That's going to make you money versus you having to shell out more money before bringing any profit in the door. Now, if I just came into my office on Monday morning, day one of my new recruiting business, when I say my office, like my home office or my kitchen, this is what I do. I would jump onto a job board like Indeed, which I have up here, and I would type in a keyword. So I did this before I started the video, just for the sake of your time. I would type in something within your niche. So I'm in wireless telecom. So as I started typing wireless in this query box, this popped up, wireless sales. So why not? Let's see who's hiring for wireless sales. And I went ahead and did my city for now, Tampa, Florida, just because the logic here is if I find a company in my area, I know that when I meet people, I make a bigger impact on them and I'm able to build a relationship. And relationships is what wins the game here, guys. That's what in recruiting and staffing, relationships is everything. It's going to separate you from the other recruiters that these managers can use. So let me see what companies are hiring in my area where I can go by, maybe do lunch with the manager, drop off some bagels or donuts, play some golf, whatever it is. But the beautiful part about owning a recruiting business is you don't have to restrict yourself just to where you live. You can open up your prospecting to the entire country. Okay, so when I type that in, I'm going to scroll down and let me move my mug over here. And I'm going to look, right? So at first blush here, AT&T is not a company I want to tangle with right now. They're too big. For those of you that are just starting in recruiting, you're going to realize real quickly, stay away from these monster companies like AT&T, even like Cricket Wireless. It's virtually impossible to provide recruiting services for them, to figure out who the decision makers are. There's tons of like hurdles to jump across and challenges and red tape. So what you want to do is try to find like a mom and pop shop is what I call them, like a smaller company, maybe up to 500 employees. And that type of intel can be researched on Sales Navigator, which I will show here in a second. Again, US Telecom, too big. HMG, I haven't heard of them. Possibility, Sunglass Hut, no thank you. Target, no thank you. Don't know who Everwise is. Metro, too big, right? Okay, here's one. Man Wireless. I've never heard of them. Let's see. I have a feeling that this is a smaller company. And so what I would do is Man Wireless Ltd. I get the name of the company. Now I'm going to go into Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is going to cost you $80 a month. And there's a little hack. If you get it from your cell phone, you can save $20 a month. Normally it's $100, but $80 from your phone. I don't know why, but just do it. And shell out that $80, guys, for 1 month and do this exercise and get some requisitions. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on account filters and I'm going to type in Man Wireless. Usually as you start typing, it'll come up. Yeah, here it is, Man Wireless Ltd. So let's look at them. All right, 29 employees on LinkedIn, 2.5 to 5 million. This is a perfect company. This is a sweet spot company right here where I feel I can like meet the decision makers. Now, what's so cool about Sales Navigator is I can visit their website, but this part I love, right? Decision makers. This is who they're telling me are the people who can sign the checks. So I'm going to look at it, right? And I'm going to go through these titles. So director, maybe, but let's try to get somebody higher. Here we go. Chief Field Operations Officer, Andrew Mann, last name Mann. I imagine he's part of the family. So this is the person that I would reach out to. Now, what I would do ahead of time is have an Excel spreadsheet, or if you guys aren't ready to purchase an applicant tracking system or a CRM, it's okay. Just have an Excel spreadsheet and start your like dream 25 target list for now. Normally I would say a dream 100, but just keep it simple, right? Do a dream 25 target list. Maybe you add Man Wireless to that list right now. So you'd click down, open up your Excel spreadsheet, type in Man Wireless or copy and paste and put Andrew Mann as the target. So I'm gonna click on Andrew Mann and move over here. And then there's a way to go out to regular LinkedIn, which I wanna see more about him. Yeah, view profile. Let's see what comes up here. And I'll just read about him. And it gives you, this is what's so cool about SalesNav. It gives you a ton of people that are related to him and that are in similar positions. These are tons of leads right here. So anyways, not much information here. All good. He's been with them for 25 years. So obviously he's part of the Mann family, but I know that if I can talk to Andrew Mann, I can fill this requisition and get him a great candidate, hands down. Here, check this out, guys. His email address is right here, so no excuse, right? But if you don't have the person's contact information, it's okay. What you'd want to do is purchase something like Zoom Info. I get this every year. So Zoom Info, in my opinion, my professional opinion, I don't get paid money for saying this, is the best database out there to get people's contact information. There are other options like Seamless, and I think it's called Lucia. So there's a ton of them, just so you can Google them. But let me type in Andrew Mann and just see if he pops up here, if it's this easy for us. If not, I can just do the Man Wireless one. I don't really see him here, but let me type in Man Wireless. I'll just give you guys a preview of what happens. Okay, Man, let's see if this is the company. I'm pretty sure it is. And then, all right, let's click on employees. Here it is, Andrew Mann, right? Chief Field Operations Officer. So what this should provide me is Andrew's email address, sometimes cell phone number. So check this out, guys. I have to blur this out, but I received his direct number, his headquarters number, and his mobile number right here. Are you kidding me? So I could literally send like a video message through Dub on text if I can't get a hold of Andrew through email or phone. That would be like my third nurture step in my process, would be a text message, which usually converts like over 90% of the time. But really great here. I can read about the company, how many employees there are. I love Zoom Info. It's a little bit, it's expensive. It's sometimes $5,000 or more for the year, and they can break up your payments from my understanding, but I've always gotten a return on investment from Zoom Info. And I feel confident that if you move forward with it, you will too, because look at the information it's giving me. All right, but let's just pretend that I didn't have Zoom Info and I didn't have Andrew Mann's contact information. So number one, you'll be able to send him an in-mail message if you have Sales Navigator, which with LinkedIn, if you're not familiar with this, you can't message somebody unless you're a first degree connection. That's like their practices. So if you send a connection request out to Andrew Mann and he doesn't accept it, then it's going to be hard to get a hold of him. But when you have Sales Navigator, I think you get about 100 in-mails a month, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I message him. It turns out we are first degree connections, but I can message him right here through in-mail, and it would go right to him. In-mails are amazing, and here's why. They usually get seen because they don't go to spam, and this message will actually show up in his email inbox as an in-mail that was sent to him. So not only does he get notified through LinkedIn, there's a message, but he also gets notified through his business email inbox. So what I would do, guys, is I would just basically every morning do this exercise, get about 30 or 40 names that are similar to Andrew in these like type of companies that are 2 million to 5 million. And then I would put them on that Excel spreadsheet. I have an applicant tracking system, so that's where I would store my contacts. But for now, just do that on your Dream 25 target list. And then the next thing I'm going to show you that would be beneficial for you, we have a system called Recruitemy Leadcast. And there are several software tools like this on the market. What I love about this one is it allows us to scale out our outreach, our connection request, as well as our sales scripts that we want to send to someone like Andrew Mann, and all in automation. This gives you the ability to leverage your time and frees you up from sitting here having to prospect all day manually, cold call, rely on cold email. This system right here, I'll give you a quick preview of it. All you would do is you could take 30 of those names and you could immediately import them into Leadcast right here. You would create new campaign, just click import, and then you would bring in your CSV file that you have saved from your Dream 25 list. That's one way to do it. You could also do like thousands of leads through Sales Navigator and import them in here and really scale it out. That's when it gets pretty exciting. And you just copy paste that URL right here. And if you bring in the import list, you just name it. And then within seconds, what happens is all of those leads will pour into this particular software system that is basically speaking to your LinkedIn account. So super efficient. And then we would set up an AI sequence to tell the system how we want to reach out to these leads, right? To the Andrew Manns of the world. And that would be done this way. So we're going to verify the email address is working properly. And if it's verified, then we're going to start sending email messages out over a span of time. And these are the scripts that we're currently using. So I know I mentioned to you that I'd give you some scripts. Let me go ahead and share these with you guys. You can pause your screen, take a look at this. I'm going to blur out people's names for obvious reasons, but this is the script that we would use. This is where we are marketing a most placeable candidate, an actual product to a hiring manager. I feel that's the best way to get job searches and requisitions and make money as soon as possible. Staffing and recruiting is an intangible product, but if you make it more tangible, you have a much faster path to getting profits and making money. So our messaging strategy is always marketing an A-player passive candidate. We call it an MPC, most placeable candidate. And I'll actually show you what those templates look like. You need to have something like this that makes you look a lot different than other recruiters. So here is the first message. Here is the second message. Oop, let me go up. You guys can pause your screen and copy this. Ta-da! Awesome. And here is the third one. Hopefully you can see that. All right. And that's really it. Those are the messages. And then we just repeat it through other variables, right? So if they don't respond by email, we then drive them to LinkedIn. And this is our connection request message right here. Go ahead and copy that. And then if they connect, message, which are the same things that you just saw above, and then we'll send an email message out. So look how powerful this is, guys. This is a sequence that you set up. You set it and forget it, copy and paste, boom, you're off to the grocery store, to the beach, whatever you want to do. And then let me show you what starts happening here. All of the people, these are actually cold prospects from your dream list or from Sales Navigator, start responding to you. And these messages start pouring in. Look at this. This is insane, right? These are all people replying to automated messages, but they think it's really you because they're more authentic. We have tested so much ad copy over the past 4 years, and we know what works and what doesn't work. And that script I just gave you is a top producing script, so use it. But there's so many examples here. Let's see, Rob. Look at this. Rob says, Rob bit on our members. Looks like first outreach message where he writes, sure, I'd like to see the digital portfolio. And then he writes to our member, do you have any candidates that would be interested in a facilities manager position? Are you kidding me, guys? We're actually getting inbound leads. Like back in 1997, when I was in recruiting, I had to make 120 cold calls at my desk. I couldn't leave my desk. I had like Nerf footballs thrown at my head at 7 p.m. because I was 20 calls shy. It was so miserable. Here we are creating inbound questions, buying questions from targeted hiring managers, from directors that we have no clue who they are, wanting to basically use our services and pay us a fee of hopefully 30%. So in this example, our member went ahead and drove this manager to a Zoom call and further qualified the requisition. And from my understanding, closed it. And he wrote back, hey, can you do Thursday at 2:30? So pretty impressive. There's so many examples back here with this, but this is what I would do, guys, is scale out my biz dev efforts and start making money as soon as possible in recruiting. And the final thing I'll show you, which I talked about, the MPC template, the way we market those candidates that are available is we have templates within our applicant tracking system that our members use right now. The most placeable candidate one is a crowd favorite, but I would have something like this set up and send these out. This is the finished product right here, but we have a template set up. But it would look like this, right? You would have your logo right here, the title of the candidate, executive summary, accomplishments, KPIs, education and certifications, excuse me. This would be a picture of the candidate. You want to do a video interview of the candidate as well, like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, find out what they're doing now, why they're looking to leave, how they're meeting and exceeding company objectives. You could hyperlink anything right here, like social media reports or resume if you want to. I'm not a big fan of sending resumes out. Like, I just think every recruiter does that. They spray resumes and hope for the best. That's not who I am. What you're looking at right here is a much better way to be different and be weird and stand out. And that's what you want to do nowadays. Your picture would go here, and the way for the manager to contact you is right there. Guys, and these pages convert. Managers are so impressed by it. We get responses like, I have never seen anything like this before. We don't have any needs right now. Check back in a month. So this is such a great sales pipeline builder, and you get more yeses than nos when you follow this system right here. Okay, guys, I hope that helped. If you got some value from this video on how to make money as soon as possible with your recruiting business, please go ahead and smash that like button. Comment below any questions that you have. And stay tuned to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos every week where I'm helping you understand how you can make money as soon as possible with your new recruiting business. Guys, go crush it.